If you've got a Gibbs 26 jersey or a Jamo number 9 jersey, uh-oh.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, let's do this, everybody. It is a Thursday edition of Locked On Lions right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thursday, April 3 into opening day tomorrow, Friday, April 4th. Matt Derry with you. Thanks for making us your first listen and checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. Right here on Locked On Lions, whether it's on our YouTube channel, whether you are listening on Spotify or Apple or wherever you get your podcasts, we appreciate you. Thank you to everybody that listens daily. We call them our everydayers. A couple of everyday listeners I got to give a shout out to. Number one is my guy, Jeff Higgins, real estate mogul to the stars and a great guy. And also got to give a shout out to John Williamson. That's right, Sister, as he is known in some circles on the east side. What is up, John? And thanks for checking us out right here on Locked On Lions. Our broadcast today of this very special podcast is brought to you by Gametime. Gametime tickets are the best. You download the Gametime app, you create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNFL to get $20 off your first purchase. If you're looking for Tiger tickets for tomorrow, you can get them on the Gametime app. All right, we got big news. I mean, this is breaking news. This is huge news for the fans. I'm going to get to that coming up momentarily. A secret weapon that we don't talk about enough when it comes to edge rushers. Dan Campbell, talked about this gentleman the other day. I want to get into that. Rod Wood, that's right. That's correct. 222 Rod Wood Drive. He held court last week down in Florida, or this week in beautiful West Palm Beach, Florida. We'll hear from Rod Wood. He had something to say about the angry fans that think the ticket prices are too high. We'll get into that coming up. And something I saw on social media this morning that just is so stupid pertaining to the NFL. We will get to that as well right here on a Thursday edition of Locked On Lions. If you missed Benjamin Raven from yesterday's show, mlive.com. Ben does a great job covering the team. Also check out his Dungeon of Doom podcast with Corey Woods. Go back and check out yesterday's show with Ben. It was a lot of fun. All right. So I didn't check social media. I probably should have seen the responses and looked at it, but I want to go into this. Something's amiss. It's not a miss, but I feel for some fans, and I'm going to explain what's going on. Today, the Lions announced that certain players, a good chunk of players, have decided to, 8 different players, are changing their jersey numbers this year. All right. And a couple of players are very popular with the fans. And if you own their jersey from this past year or the last couple of years, like, what are you supposed to do? For example, if you got a brand spanking new last year, 2024 new jersey, the Lions got new uniforms last year, and you got yourself a Jameson Williams number 9 jersey. Guess what? He's changed his number. Jamo is no longer wearing number 9. He has decided to switch to number 1. What if you just got a brand new jersey? Those things ain't cheap. Now it's outdated after 1 year. I mean, what we're going through right now in the country and prices being skyrocketing and tariffs. And you got your Jameson Williams jersey and it was good for 1 season because he's going from number 9 to number 1. Oh, it gets worse. Jahmyr Gibbs, popular player. So many people come up to me. What jersey should I get? I'm getting a jersey. I said, get a Jahmyr Gibbs jersey, man. He's going to be here for a long time. Long time. He's only in his second year. Get that 26 black jersey or the blue or the white or whatever. Jahmyr Gibbs is changing his number from number 26 to number 0. But wait, wasn't Terrion Arnold wearing number 0 this year? He was. Not anymore. No, Jack, he's going to number 6. Like, is this going to happen every year? I get now that players are allowed to wear different numbers, and it used to be that wide receivers had to wear double digits, and they could be in the teens or they could be in the 80s. But now they've changed it up so guys want to wear their college numbers, and guys can wear single digits in the NFL. Remember, for Braylon Edwards wore number 1 at Michigan, but then he had to go to the league and he wore 17. But I just feel bad for the fans that saved up their money or got it or asked for a present and had these Jahmyr Gibbs and Jameson Williams jerseys. And heck, maybe you had a Terrion Arnold number 0 jersey. That again lasted 1 season, as he's going to be wearing number 6. I just think it sucks. Like, I think it's cool that they want to change, and maybe guys are going back to the numbers that they wore in college or in high school. And hey, Jamo's gonna be wearing number 1. Wearing the number 1 jersey is pretty cool. Like, you're the one. But for the last 3 years, he's been number 9. And if you bought a jersey, you're kind of getting screwed. Arnold's going to wear number 6 now. That was the number that Ife Melifonwu wore. I think with Jamo, he wanted number 1 because he wore that in college. And then Jeff Okudah had number 1 when Jamo got to the team. And so now Jahmyr Gibbs is 0. Jamo is 1. Arnold is 6. Tim Patrick, who was number 17, is now going to be number 12. Al-Qadim Muhammad, who previously was number 69, is now number 96. Broderick Martin, who was 96, is now 6. Maurice Norris, who was 40, is now 26. And Ennis Rakestraw, who wore number 15, is now going to be wearing number 9, which was Jameson Williams' old number. If you're scoring at home on the new players, DJ Reed will wear 4. Roy Lopez, 51. Rock Yassin, 23. Grant Stewart, 15. 15 for a linebacker is weird. Kenny Yaboa, 88. And Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike, Ronnie Bell, former Michigan legend, and now Lions receiver. Who knew Ronnie Bell was on the Lions? Is going to wear number 10. While I understand that the league is trying to do something cool, and the league wants to appease their players who want to make jersey changes, I think for you, the Lions fans, that have had to have spent an exorbitant amount of money on tickets, the highest ticket prices in the league of the Lions, and then you buy your jersey, and everybody loves wearing their jerseys to the games. That's one thing about going to Ford Field, and I've really noticed this over the last couple of years. Everybody's got their jersey now. They're in love with the players. This group of players is so popular. I went on rants during the last season about Jameson Williams. They were never personal. I said it at times he acts like a clown. Oh my gosh. You would have thought I had kicked his dog. So if you're a big Jamo fan, you now have an outdated jersey. And like I said before, for those of you that bought the new ones, because last year they had new jerseys, and now you got to get rid of your Gibbs jersey or your Jamo jersey. If I'm the Lions, if there's any way there could be some sort of jersey exchange and they can get them for half off or some kind of deal, can we do that, Lions? Can we make that happen? Because these are 3 of them, Jamo, Jahmyr, and certainly Terrion Arnold. Those are popular guys. Those are popular players. I don't know how many Terrion Arnold jerseys there are, but for those of you that have Gibbs or Jamo jerseys, you are bleep out of luck, because now those are outdated. I got to look up and see if a lot of other teams' players are doing this, but I don't like it. I get it that the players want to wear the numbers they want to wear, and Jamo's been dying to wear number 1 for 3 years. Jahmyr Gibbs wearing 0 it'll look a little weird for running back, but hey, here we are. It's 2025. So maybe I'm get off my lawn guy. Maybe I sound old and outdated with my takes here. I just feel sorry for some of you fans that saved up your cash. I mean, those jerseys are not cheap. And now, I don't know, maybe it's kind of cool to wear the old jersey. Maybe having the Jamo number 9 is considered like classic. You know, when you go to baseball games and you see a Tram jersey or a Jack Morris jersey, or somebody's got a Kamara Barti or a Dimitri Young 25, and you're like, oh, that's kind of cool and funny. But if you go to a Lions game and you're wearing an old Jamo, would people go, hey, you got to get the new one? I don't know. All right, coming up next, a secret weapon in the edge rushing room. Everybody's been talking about it. Lions need an edge rusher. Who are the Lions going to draft? Which edge are they going to get at 28 if they take one? What about the guy who everybody wants to replace? Dan Campbell thinks he's going to have a big year. We'll tell you about that coming up next. But first, Locked On Lions tonight, as we told you, is brought to you by our friends at Gametime. Imagine watching your favorite team live, feeling the energy of the crowd, and witnessing unforgettable moments, right? There's nothing like experiencing a big game in person. Getting tickets should not be stressful. That's where Gametime comes in, making it easier than ever to grab last-minute tickets at unbeatable prices. You want to go tomorrow to opening day. You're feeling the Tigers spirit and fever, and you want to go down there. There are Tigers tickets for their game tomorrow at 1:05 against the White Sox right there on the Gametime app. Gametime Picks is there too. Curation that makes it easier to find better value for tickets to sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. It is all right there for you with Gametime Picks. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. That's LOCKEDON NFL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Got to give a special shout out to my guy Lawrence Lewis, a realtor to the stars, and also check him out down at Prime and Proper, one of the managers down there. Had a great lunch with Lawrence today at the Fogo in Troy. And Lawrence is a big sports fan, loves his Pistons first and foremost. We had a good Lions discussion as well. All right, what's everybody saying about the Lions draft? Raise your hand. What's everybody saying? We got to get an edge rusher. Diesel, we got a Derry, Matt, which edge rusher we get? What about James Pierce? What about Shamar Stewart? What about the kid from Boston College? What about It's edge rusher roulette. It's the edge rusher bistro for the Lions. Who's going to be opposite of Aiden Hutchinson this year? It's got to be 28. They got to get an edge rusher. Brad Holmes is going to take the best available player, no matter what the position is for this football team. That's just a fact, right? So the other day, Dan Campbell was down at the owners' meetings in Florida. We talked to Ben Raven about it yesterday. I was doing some show prep today, a very extensive show prep today. And I noticed something. And I read something from Dave Burkett's article in Freep.com about Marcus Davenport. Marcus Davenport is back with the Lions, signing a one-year deal. What do you get? $4 million, $4.5 million, $2.5 million, something like that. In the last 2 years with the Vikings, or actually the last 2 years with the Vikings and Lions, Marcus Davenport has played in a grand total of 6 games. Ankle injury 2 years ago. He tore his triceps last year with the Leos. Lions, as we know, last year were tied for 23rd in the NFL with 37 sacks. And their sack leader, Aiden Hutchinson, played in just 5 games. He missed the last 12 after he cracked his leg in 17 places, broke his tibia and fibula. So here comes Marcus Davenport back on another one-year prove-it deal for the Lions. Nobody's talking about him. When healthy, Marcus Davenport is a good football player. He can get to the quarterback. The Lions thought so much of Marcus Davenport that they did not bring back Zadarius Smith. Now, a lot of that was financial, but you get my drift. What did Dan Campbell have to say about Davenport the other day? Listen to this quote for a second. Quote, I think as long as he's willing to make another push, believes that he can get this done, and we feel like the rehab and everything has gone well, we think this will heal. Campbell said, everything's right about it. Then yeah, we feel good. And as long as, if it goes the way we think it's going to go, Davenport is going to be a hell of a player. Now, again, when healthy in New Orleans, double-digit sacks. When healthy in Minnesota, bunch of pressures. But he cannot stay healthy. And so hence, and therefore, nobody believes that Marcus Davenport is going to perform. So much so that everybody's worried about edge rusher. Everybody's worried about Zadarius Smith maybe re-signing for a lot less money. Oh, we got to get him back. We got to get him back. But Marcus Davenport has something to prove. And as Dan Campbell is saying, he can be a hell of a player. Campbell believes this could be the guy that solves the ails of who's opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. He just has to not get hurt. Because a majority of his career, and this was a former first-round pick when he was down in New Orleans, just has not been able to be on the field. So I like his talent too. What was it, the first game and a half? He looked pretty good, but he always seems to find a way to end up on the injured reserve list. So the Lions have a lot of faith in Marcus Davenport. And so much so that you're hearing they want Josh Paschal to play more interior, although he is listed, as an edge rusher. They brought Al-Qadim Muhammad back. They're going to try different things. But Marcus Davenport is a guy that nobody talks about. And Dan Campbell made it a point to talk about the other day. All right, speaking of talking, we love firing up this old bit. Rod Wood, Lions team president, spoke the other day at the owners' meetings and talked a lot about the ticket prices. And he talked about supply and demand, and he said our game against the Commanders was the number one postseason ticket price other than the Super Bowl in the history of the NFL. The two games the year before that the Lions played in 23 were the most expensive wild card game and the most expensive divisional round game. Our fans are hungry to go to a Lions game, said Rod Wood. This was interesting. I read this in John McElroon's piece at Lions SI. Speaking with reporters at the end of owners' meetings, Wood indicated he had not heard many complaints other than from brokers who were selling tickets at a profit. What? What are you talking about? All the Lion fans have been complaining about the price hikes and how they have to spend $400 to be standing room. The only complaints he's heard are from brokers who were selling tickets at a profit. Are you talking about the people that lost their season tickets? Or are you talking about actual brokers? Like, why are you gaslighting, Rod? Come on. You haven't heard from season ticket holders? You haven't heard from season ticket holders that lost their tickets? You haven't heard from some of the fans? And I know some of you have been calling the Lions and going, this is ridiculous how expensive these tickets are. I'd like to go to one game. Are you defining ticket brokers as the guys and girls that you took their tickets away? Because they're not brokers. They were season ticket holders. Some of them, including our guy, Mr. Stevenson out in Oregon, who had to sell his tickets because he doesn't live here, but he's eventually going to come back. That's gross. I don't like that. Oh, only people I've heard of, the only people complaining are the brokers. Are you? Hold on a second. The brokers, the actual ticket brokers that make money on this, and that's their job, that they get in there, that they weasel their way in, that they, have relationships with the Lions. Our friends at Gametime, I guess you could call them brokers. Those are brokers. The season ticket holders that are very upset that the team is taking away their tickets because they sold them, oh, by the way, on the Lions Ticket Exchange website. I just thought, I didn't like that from Rod. I didn't like that at all. I think plenty of you have complained. I think I run into fans all the time. Matt, I want to go to a game. I can't afford it. You throw in parking, you throw in food. You're at the game. You're at the mercy of them and their pricing. And I'm not saying the food isn't good. I went to a game last year in a suite, and I had a great time. All right, and the food was amazing. It was great. But for the team president to be like, well, I haven't heard from many people other than the brokers. Are you talking about the actual brokers? Or are you talking about your fans who maybe some of them live out of state and maybe some of them couldn't go to the games and now they're out? I just think that's bad form. Rod Wood and the front office and everybody with the Lions has done a magnificent job. I'm not taking away what Rod has done, especially on the business side. People are happy with the product. They're happy with Ford Field, all those things. But to kind of poo-poo that, it's a little gross in my opinion. Plenty of fans are unhappy about the pricing. And because there's such a demand, as Rod stated, the pricing on the secondary market is high. Trying to get in and be a season ticket holder, there's a long waiting list. When the Lions do put out some single game tickets, those are going to go so fast. Fans that are going to be loading up on their computer, trying to get on, it's going to be difficult to try to get single game tickets. Those are going to fly off the shelves quickly. And then you're forced to go to Gametime and the prices are high. So there is some coddling that I think the Lions sometimes fail to do with their fans. That's all I'm saying. All right, coming up next, folks, I saw something today that is so stupid, and it reminded me of the Hendon Hooker, Jared Goff discussion that I never have on this show. We will do that coming up next right here on Locked On Lions. Folks, don't forget, after every Pistons game, after every Red Wings game, after every Tigers game, and of course Lions games as well, Jake Riepma will be with you for Locked On Sports Detroit's postcast. Yes, the Locked On postcast with Jake is there. Jake was on yesterday after the Mariners beat the Tigers. Jake will be on when the Pistons, I think the Pistons play the Grizzlies coming up. Jake will be on after that as well. Check out the postcast wherever you get your podcast and on Locked On Sports Detroit on YouTube. All right, anybody see this today? This was maybe some of the dumbest stuff I've ever seen, okay? The Dallas Cowboys quarterback for the 510th time is Dak Prescott. Can we agree on this? Dak Prescott is making like 50 or 60 million a year. It's a ridiculous contract. He's not that good. He's good, but he's not that good. But regardless, he's their guy. Cooper Rush has been the backup the last few years. Oh, Cooper Rush signed with the Ravens. He's going to be the backup to Lamar Jackson. So the Cowboys were in the market for a backup quarterback. And if you missed it earlier today, the New England Patriots traded Joe Milton to the Cowboys. I think they did like a 7th round pick swap and they got a 5th round pick in return. And what do I see on Twitter, Blue Sky, all of them, even on Instagram? Competition is coming for Dak Prescott. Oh my gosh. What? Joe Milton had a really good preseason last year in August for the Patriots, as he was not really battling, but whatever. He was playing more than Drake May was. Drake May was taken in the 1st round by the Patriots. He's the future at quarterback in New England. It's not Joe Milton. Joe Milton can throw a ball 70 yards in the air. Everybody says the greatest arm ever. Can he complete a 2-yard out in a regular season game? Not sure. Why do people do this? Maybe it's the media's fault. Maybe it's our fault. CBSSports.com. Dak Prescott's got some competition. No, he does not. No, he doesn't. They needed a backup quarterback. They identified Joe Milton and they traded a 5th round pick to get him. Jerry Jones loves trading for like Trey Lance and Joe Milton types. All right. Backup quarterbacks that may be flashy, that other teams do not think are starters in this league. If people thought Trey Lance was a starter, he'd be the starter in Cleveland. He'd be the starter in Pittsburgh. If people thought Joe Milton was any good, he'd be the starter in Pittsburgh. He'd be the starter in Cleveland, and somebody would have gone and gotten him. The Patriots just gave up a 5th round pick for him. The Cowboys. He's a backup. If Joe Milton were any good, he would have been the quarterback of Michigan. Remember, he left Michigan and went to Tennessee and didn't play right away. I think he played 1 year where he was the starter, and he wasn't bad. But why do we do this? This is the same thing when the Lions drafted Hendon Hooker. What happened? Oh my gosh. Jared Goff's got competition. I want Hendon Hooker. Jared Goff has a bad game. Washington Commanders playoff game last year. Some of you and even some bloggers and people online, maybe the Lions should look at Hendon Hooker and give him a chance. Hendon Hooker is getting competition from Kyle Allen this offseason. We've talked about it. Kyle Allen was the number 3 quarterback in Pittsburgh last year, where Russell Wilson sucked and Justin Fields sucked. He hasn't played in 2 years. So why do we do this? Why is this social media stupidity? This makes no sense to me. I get it. Quarterback is always a hot button topic. But like, I'll use the Browns as an example. The Browns have said they are going to have a competition. And right now they've got Kenny Pickett and I think that's it for now. No. They have Kenny Pickett and they're likely going to probably go get Kirk Cousins, and they could even draft Shedeur Sanders. They could. But you know what the Browns didn't do was try to get Joe Milton, nor did they call the Lions about Hendon Hooker. Joe Milton needs time. Hendon Hooker probably needs time. But to see on the internet today that Dak Prescott, who's getting paid $60 million a year, has competition. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. You know what's going to happen? Dak's not going to play in the preseason. Milton is. He's going to like throw a couple of good balls and people are like, ooh, see that? See that? And then when Dak throws an interception in week 3, fans are going to clamor for Joe Milton. He's not a starter. Why do we do this? It's hard playing quarterback in this league. Very difficult. So I wanted to share that today. All right, everybody, that's Locked On Lions for a Thursday. If you're going downtown tomorrow for opening day, I will be down there and around the city. So come say hello if you see me. Have a great Thursday, everybody. Be safe tomorrow.